Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
Our sources explain it all. For more information on upcoming shows or to suggest shows, email brianhayward2026@gmail.com. And now let's get into our show. Hayward Podworks is vision, deep dives into any topic.
All right, welcome to the deep dive. Today we are taking on a subject that, it often gets relegated to just self-help slogans.
Right, self-love.
Exactly, but it's so central to the human experience.
And that's our mission today. We're going to try and excavate this concept, get past the superficial stuff and uncover the actual mechanics, the history behind it.
A real practical step.
Exactly. We're looking for the architecture of self-realization.
Okay, so let's jump right in and define this, because when we say self-love, we are not talking about arrogance.
No, not at all. Or narcissism or being self-absorbed. Our sources are incredibly clear on this. Genuine self-love is really the opposite of selfish.
So what is it then?
It's about respect for your own intrinsic worth. A worth that's totally independent of what you achieve or what other people think of you.
It's the path to becoming. What do the sources call it? A fully whole and integrated individual.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you really internalize that unconditional acceptance, you get this immense internal stability. You stop needing external things to feel whole.
Like your boss's approval
or a relationship or how much money you have. All that stuff stops being the source of your fulfillment.
And that's where everything changes, right? That's the huge benefit. The sources say it turns you into a powerful creator of your own reality.
Because you stop the self-sabotage. When you get rid of those deep down beliefs that you're unworthy, the sabotage it melts away.
Your internal tank is full.
Exactly. And then you can actually love other people unconditionally because you don't need anything from them in return.
This whole deep dive is sort of built on this premise that love itself is the ultimate building block of the universe.
It's the core energy. And that's why you see this same idea echoing through, all of history. Think about that quote from Gautama Buddha.
Oh, yeah. In the end, only three things matter.
How much you loved, how gently you lived,
and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you.
That last part. How gracefully you let go.
Well, to do that, you have to know what you're holding on to. And maybe more importantly, who is doing the holding.
And that brings us right to our first section. We have to decode the self.
Okay, the self. Like a capital S.
The capital S. It's the ultimate mystical concept, isn't it? It goes back thousands of years.
It's the soul, right? Or the Atman.
The Atman in Vedic tradition, yeah. The monad, the I am presence. It has so many names. But for our purposes, you can just think of it as your core awareness.
Who you are before all the social conditioning.
Exactly. Before the ego, all the attitudes and behaviors were, downloaded into your system from birth.
And that's the great paradox, isn't it? Right. Childhood and socialization. They're supposed to prepare you for life, but a lot of the time they just teach you to forget who you are.
It's a survival mechanism, really. A very old one.
You mean like fitting in with the tribe?
Precisely. The need to conform is so ingrained because, back then, if you were different, you were thrown out. That could mean death.
So to avoid that, we learn to, contort ourselves, please other people.
We do. And in that process, the authentic self kind of retreats. And the ego, this protective, conditional self, steps up to deal with the world.
So finding the self it's a process of unlearning.
A radical unlearning. And the wisdom traditions we looked at, they actually point to a very defined path for this. It's sometimes called the paradoxical modality.
Paradoxical how?
Well, it draws a lot from ancient Vedic philosophy. The roadmap basically suggests this deliberate purification of everything, mind, body, environment.
Okay, what does that involve?
You need four main conditions. First, a silent, serene location. You want to minimize all that sensory input.
Second,
the ability to practice focused meditation, often on the heart chakra. Third, a really severe diet restriction. No meat, no processed food, no caffeine, no alcohol.
Wow.
And the last one, which is maybe the hardest, is eliminating all technology, all digital distractions.
That sounds like, that's a retreat for a hermit. How does someone with a job and a family even begin to approach that in the modern world?
That's the critical question, isn't it? And the sources frame this path as like the ideal blueprint for fast-tracking your healing. But it's the principles that matter.
Okay.
The grand irony is that the quickest way to find the self is often to do. Well, nothing.
To do nothing.
Actively, yes. It's about removing the negative input. Stop the constant chatter in your head. Be careful what you read. Give your five senses a break from the constant stimulation.
So if you remove all the junk, the system just heals itself.
The natural intelligence of the body, mind, and soul reasserts itself. That's the idea.
That is profound. The idea that the fastest way is non-action. And the destination here, the ultimate goal, is what they call self-realization.
A state of, full-body bliss and understanding. It's talked about in pretty much every major piece of spiritual literature.
And while that's the pinnacle, the day-to-day work, the lifelong practice, that's about integrating the shadow.
Yes. This is where it gets really interesting.
The darkness, we have to talk about Carl Jung here. He famously said,
"One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light,
but by making the darkness conscious." This is the real psychological heavy lifting.
It is. The shadow is basically this.
Yeah.
This subconscious container for all the parts of ourselves we decided were unacceptable.
Things we were told were bad, or maybe things from trauma.
Right. And we repress them. We push them down. But the more you deny them, the more dense and problematic that shadow becomes.
It doesn't stay down, does it? It leaks out, usually as projection.
They call it the mirroring phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so powerful once you see it.
Explain that.
Think about it. The weaknesses you just can't stand in other people. The things that really, really irritate you.
Mm.
It's so much easier to criticize them in someone else than to see them in yourself. So your anger at a lazy colleague might just be your own mind flagging your fear of failure, or your own repressed desire to just rest.
So the other person is just a mirror.
They're just holding up a mirror. The critique is never really about them. It's always about you.
That's why that Hermann Hesse quote is so perfect.
If you hate a person, you hate something in him that is part of yourself.
What isn't part of ourselves doesn't disturb us.
It's timeless. You even see it in the Bible. Do not judge, or you too shall be judged. All the wisdom traditions agree on this.
What I find fascinating is this idea of the dark side of self-love. That you learn more from your pain and your faults than your successes.
Oh, absolutely. When you finally integrate a piece of your shadow, let's say you acknowledge your own controlling behavior, you don't just heal yourself.
What happens?
You become so much more compassionate to other people who are controlling because you get it. You understand the struggle intimately.
Yeah.
Integration breeds compassion.
Okay, before we get to the daily habits, we have to make a really important distinction that trips so many people up.
Yes.
Self-esteem versus self-love. They sound the same, but they're not.
They're functionally opposites. And this is probably the most important concept for anyone learning this. Self-esteem is, it's inherently dualistic. It's a problem.
Because it goes up and down.
It fluctuates wildly. It's transactional. It's attached to a role. You think, I'm a great chef, so I have good self-esteem.
Right. But then you burn a dish and your self-esteem plummets. It needs that external validation.
Exactly. It's temporary.
Yeah.
Self-love, on the other hand, is non-dualistic. It is constant once you practice it enough.
Because it's not attached to anything.
It's not attached to a role, to performance, to what anyone else thinks. It's just the recognition of your own inherent non-negotiable value just for being alive. A bad day can't take it away.
So once you commit to that base state, that non-dualistic self-love, the next step is mastering your daily life. And that starts with habits.
The psychological research is so clear on this. Your habits aren't just things you do. They are literally who you become. Vincent Norman Peale said it.
Repetition of the same thought or action develops into a habit.
Which, repeated frequently enough, becomes an automatic reflex. We're just creatures of repetition.
And the sources give these really specific timelines for how our subconscious adapts to this stuff.
Yeah, 2 key checkpoints. The first one is 3 days.
20 days.
That's the initial physical adaptation. You see it in like drug rehab or when you make a huge diet change, your body starts rewiring.
And the second, bigger one.
3 weeks. 21 days. That's the magic number. That's the time it takes for a new habit to really get ingrained, for the subconscious to kind of take over and make it automatic.
So 21 days to build a new operating system. And a habit isn't just an action, right? A thought is a habit too.
A thought is just a habit of the mind. And the quality of those thought habits literally creates your reality. But what's even more powerful is the link between thoughts and emotions.
Okay.
Thoughts lead to emotions, sure. But you can actually skip the thought part. You can leverage emotion directly by intentionally generating that feeling. Think about people or memories you absolutely adore. Focusing on that pure emotional energy can immediately increase your personal power, your charisma, your entire vibrational state.
That's the ultimate shortcut. What about the really deep ones, the beliefs, the thoughts we've repeated so often we think they're facts?
A belief is just a thought on repeat, yeah. It's an operating script. To deactivate a negative one, say about scarcity, you have to access its exact opposite, abundance.
But you can't just jump from despair to joy.
No, you need an intermediary step, and that's meditation. It slows down that negative momentum. It creates space so you can then access and plant the positive belief you want.
This all brings us back to the practical stuff. The sources gave 7 really down-to-earth ways to build up that stability, the kind that supports self-love.
Yeah, these are the tools. They're simple, but the impact is exponential.
First one, put health first. Diet, exercise. It's paramount.
Health is attractive, and feeling strong just makes you less fragile. Second, save money.
Yes. Financial stress consumes so much mental energy. Having enough to cover your bills gets rid of a huge source of anxiety.
It's a major external dependency. Third, build competence.
Get better at what you do. Competence is the bedrock of real confidence.
Fourth, focus. Do one thing at a time instead of scattering your energy everywhere.
That reduces that frantic feeling. Fifth is meditation.
That's the foundation.
Yeah.
It detaches you from other people's opinions so you're not so reactive.
Okay, sixth, inner assessment.
Journaling, affirmations, whatever it takes to consciously identify your core fears so you can actually work on them.
And finally, seventh, reframe.
When something bad happens, you force yourself to list the good that came out of it, the lesson, the resilience you gained.
You're choosing the perspective that empowers you.
Because reality is subjective anyway.
So once you have that discipline and structure, then we get to the fun part.
The most enjoyable part. Creativity.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about purification and discipline, which can sound kind of restrictive.
But the sources are clear. This should be the most fulfilling journey of your life. It should be a joy.
And creativity is the expression of that authentic self.
It accesses all those parts of you that got shut down by the pressure to conform. The real sign of self-love is being authentic, being original.
Which is why the sources say that copying someone else's formula for success, it'll never really work for you.
It will ultimately fail because it is not your creation. You're still looking outside of yourself for the answer.
So to build that originality, the material suggests kind of pushing your comfort zone.
Way outside it.
Yeah.
One idea was to go on a wild trip. Do something radical. Quit your job. Travel the world.
Something to shake up the system. But beyond those big moves, it's about daily engagement.
That's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Creative writing, art, martial arts, dancing, singing, cooking.
Whatever it is, you have to be persistent. It's the proof that you're letting the self take the lead.
And all of this work, the purification, the shadow work, the creative practice, it all leads to honing our most underrated tool.
Intuition.
Our intuition. We're told it holds the answer to every question, and it really only blossoms when you learn to detach from that constant, strenuous, rational thinking.
The rational mind is useful, but it's limited.
It's limited. Intuition is the door to that non-dualistic understanding.
So the ultimate signpost on this path is it's completely individual.
Radically individualized. You don't need to copy anyone. Your own unique desires, your goals.
Yeah.
They are the single greatest signposts that you have.
They're your compass.
They are your compass, pointing you toward your highest self.
So the pinnacle of human achievement isn't what society says it is. It's just being uniquely you, doing what you love 24/7.
Without caring what other people think. That is the ultimate internal alignment.
Which brings us full circle. Confidence isn't something you put on.
It's not a performance. It's just the natural result of being aligned with who you really are. Putting on a facade is exhausting. It drains so much energy.
But when you align with your true self,
it's immensely and perpetually energizing.
We can close this whole deep dive with that amazing summation from the ancient Greeks. It just ties everything together so beautifully. Mm-hmm. Know thyself, and thou shalt know the gods and all the universe.
Such powerful words. It frames this whole thing as the ultimate act of discovery.
Okay, so for the final provocative thought we want to leave you with. It comes straight from the source material.
Right. So we've learned that the ultimate habit is replacing negative thoughts with positive ones, and that your willpower is at its absolute peak in the morning.
So consider this challenge. What is the most destructive, deeply ingrained, non-constructive habit you consistently engage in before you even leave your bedroom? The very first thing you do.
What would happen if you focused all of that peak morning willpower on replacing just that one habit for the necessary 21 days?
Something to chew on as you start your day.
Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
All right, this is Hayward Podworks, and that's today's episode. If this helped you, do me a favor, hit follow, leave a quick rating, and share it with one person who'd get value. Want the extras, links, and new drops? Check the show notes. Until next time, stay sharp, stay consistent, and keep building. Hayward Podworks. We'll talk soon.